How is it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store has just kicked off its Planet of the Discount sale. They're also running a Halloween sale right now, and I am here to highlight the historic low prices. So these are the deals that are at their lowest prices ever. Obviously, as time continues on, some of these games will get even cheaper. Some may even get added as PlayStation Plus titles, but for now, they are their lowest price ever, and I am here to go over them, and some good stuff here. Definitely, as far as the deals are concerned, I feel like some stuff is being saved for, the holidays, Black Friday, etc., but, we cover everything. Here to cover some more stuff, so let's get right into it. This game just came out, and it's already seeing a 15% off discount. Not a sizable discount, but it's Cronos: The New Dawn, done by Bloober Team. This game, unfortunately, just did not get a lot of attention, and it's a really, really solid action survival horror game. Albeit, it is a bit on the challenging side, so keep that in mind. I think Bloober Team is quietly building up a resume of just really, really great games. They got a lot of attention last year for the Silent Hill 2 remake, and I feel like that game really put them on the map. But prior to that, The Medium, Observer, which we'll get to in a little bit, they've done some really good work. I believe they're working on a Silent Hill 1 remake now, and Cronos: The New Dawn ended up being a really solid atmospheric survival horror game with a time travel story, which I always feel like is the hardest story to nail. Just in execution, it's usually pretty difficult, but I thought atmosphere, technically, mechanically, just a really, really well done game, and it's one of those games I think is worthwhile. Reality is, you're talking about a game that you can complete, 15 hours or so. $51 is a hefty price, but I think for just any game these days, people are being a little bit aware of what they spend as far as, buying the games at a premium price point. But I really like the game. If you don't want to pick it up at $51, I can totally understand. Add it to the wish list. Have this one on your radar, and when it gets cheaper, do pick it up then. I could totally see it a year from now. Halloween of next year, I could totally see Cronos getting added as a PlayStation Plus title. Hell, Silent Hill 2 just got added. That's a Bloober Team game. I could totally see a year from now Cronos getting added as well. But that's a year from now. Who knows? The world can totally change. PlayStation Plus might end up going up in price to $50 a month. You never know. You never know in this landscape. Let's hope that's not the case. But $51 for Cronos: The New Dawn. Next up, like I said, Observer System Redux is $7.49. This is available on PlayStation Plus Extra. This is a really, really interesting game in terms of it being more of a thriller. Pretty interesting as far as a futuristic story. I played this years and years ago, so my memory's a bit foggy, but I remember thinking it was incredibly compelling from a narrative standpoint, and just the setting and elements like that, those futuristic settings, I feel like how they apply as the years go on, it's fascinating. I know a lot of people talk about Metal Gear Solid 2 now in terms of how it's applicable to today, and, some of the aspects in that game. I always find those games to be fascinating. But $7.49 for another Bloober Team title, pretty good deal there. Let's mention a couple of RGG games. Like a Dragon Ishin is 80% off for $11.99. While this is in PlayStation Plus Extra right now, it is going to be leaving the service next month, so keep that in mind. Little bit of a different RGG game from a setting standpoint, however, mechanically very much akin to your action beat-em-up style gameplay. $11.99 is a pretty good buy on that. Finally getting cheaper and cheaper. That was holding up in price for a while, so good to see that getting cheaper. Then we have Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, 45% off for $33. Y'all know I love these games, and I was all aboard on a game with Majima as a main character, and I'm totally on board for more spin-off games like this. If the development time is low and you can tell a story with some of the other iconic characters, all aboard on that idea. And I thought Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii was a fun spin-off. Is it a blowaway game that's progressing Majima as a character forward by an intense amount? No, it's not. It's not progressing the Like a Dragon narrative all that much, but as a story in a vacuum, I feel like it exists pretty well. However, while it can exist in a vacuum, I do recommend you to have some affinity towards Majima. Play Yakuza 0, at least play some of the other Yakuza games so you know his character and whatnot. But for $33, I think it's a pretty good buy. But again, this is a game for more of the fan base that already exists, and if you're already a fan of these games, you probably had an eye on this for a while, or maybe already picked it up. But if you didn't, $33 is good. If you want to wait for it to get cheaper, if you want to wait a year and wait for it to get down to like the price point that Ishin is at now, or even it getting added to Plus Extra, which I could totally see down the line, I could totally understand that as well. But a decent pickup on that. Obviously, whenever there's a historic low on a Legend of Heroes title, get ready for your boy to start glazing, and we have Legend of Heroes Trails into Reverie Deluxe Edition, 50% off for $45. Like, yo, I'm mentioning this, but the reality is, if you are far long enough in Legend of Heroes to play Trails into Reverie, you don't need me to sell you on it, because to play Trails into Reverie, really, you should just be caught up until Trails into Reverie. This isn't a game you jump right into, absolutely not. So you have to go through the Sky trilogy, which, you know, Sky 1 and 2 getting remade. Hopefully Sky 3 ends up getting remade as well, but Sky 1 already out. Sky 2, we pretty much know that'll be coming out, hopefully in 2026, fingers crossed. And Sky 3, again, hopefully that'll get remade as well. The Crossbell games, that's a set of 2 games. Trails from Zero, Trails into Azure, you have to go through those, and hopefully they end up remaking those as well. And then the 4 Cold Steel games. So you're talking about 9 games that you have to go through to get to Trails into Reverie. By that point, you're probably sold on the franchise and you're gonna play it, but a good culmination of what was said to be the first half of the Trails saga, which is insane to think about because, you know, there's a lot more games beyond this. The Daybreak games came out after Reverie. We've got Beyond the Horizon coming out in January, and then probably more games after that. So yeah, a lot to sink your teeth into, but $45 for the Deluxe Edition. Next up, we have Shinobi Art of Vengeance Digital Deluxe Edition, 25% off for $29.99. Not a sizable discount. This is the same price as the base game now that the Deluxe Edition is discounted, and the DLC that you get is notable in the Sega Villain Stage DLC. That Villain Stage DLC is going to have guest characters from other Sega IPs, so Dr. Eggman is getting a stage, Majima is getting a stage, some pretty cool stuff in that Villains DLC. The game itself, I really dug. Just some of the platforming by the end of the game made me want to damn near break a controller, but had a great time with it. The developers of this game also did Streets of Rage 4, and my goodness, they are doing a great job of taking some of these classic IPs, modernizing them a bit, but also having a bit of that classic feel to them. You still get that in Shinobi Art of Vengeance. About a 8 to 10 hour long game with a little bit of replayability. Again, had a great time with it, definitely would recommend that. Trials Fusion is $3.99. I mean, this is kind of a kickback, relax kind of game, platform racing game. You do crazy tricks. Trials has been one of those franchises that I remember when it was blowing up on the 360 for a little while. There was a lot of attention around it. Now, you know, Trials is one of those franchises that's at the forefront, but $3.99 on that. Gotham Knights Deluxe Edition. This gets you the base game and the Visionary Pack. You know, I talk up Gotham Knights a little bit more than most people, but I'm not saying that the game is blowaway. What I am saying is if you get it for under $10, I think it's a fine pickup. You know, it is kind of whack that I believe the game is locked at 30 frames per second on PlayStation 5, which is insanity. I played it on PC, and when it initially came out on PC, the performance was kind of rough on there as well, but yeah, it being locked to 30 FPS as well because the visuals aren't blowaway. I believe it's because of the co-op aspect to the game, so it is what it is, but yeah, overall, I had a decent time with the game. Is it at the level of the Batman Arkham games? Absolutely not. It's not at the level of Batman Arkham Origins, which the development studio, WB Montreal, did that game. They didn't do the Arkham trilogy, of course. That was Rocksteady, but Gotham Knights was done by WB Montreal, who did do the prequel to the Arkham trilogy and Arkham Origins. But nonetheless, $8.99 on Gotham Knights Deluxe. There you go with that. SpongeBob SquarePants, the Patrick Star game, 50% off for $19.99. A sandbox for Patrick Star to go around an open world playground. You can skydive, search for buried treasure, or release the rage in Mrs. Puff's rage room. Use almost any item you find from the reef blower to a paint can to make the world more Patrick. So $19.99 on that. We do have another SpongeBob game coming out in November. I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. So yeah, I'm a SpongeBob guy. Grew up watching it. You know, what's funnier than 24? 25! But, yeah, that still gives me a kick, and I am totally washed up, as you guys can tell, but $19.99 for SpongeBob SquarePants, the Patrick Star game. Amnesia the Bunker, 80% off for $4.99. When it comes to frictional games, I always talk up Soma. I think that game is phenomenal. Amnesia wasn't really up my alley, but, you know, a lot of people are into it, and the Bunker was received really, really well, so $5 on that seems pretty good to me. Life is Strange, a remastered collection, $11.99 on this. This includes Life is Strange Remastered and Life is Strange Before the Storm Remastered. You've got remastered visuals. It's one of those narrative-driven games that I actually did enjoy. I don't know how many people are going to be into it these days, but yeah, for $11.99, I don't think it's bad. Dredge is $9.99. It is available on PlayStation Plus Extra. This game came out in 2023. I want to say it had an earlier release. No, it didn't have an earlier release on PC. It came out in March on PlayStation as well, but it kind of blew up right around the same time as Dave the Diver, and the game got a lot of attention. Very, very well received as far as that's concerned, and yeah, $9.99 for that. Unravel a mystery, captain your fishing trawler across our collection of remote islands, dredge the depths, study your craft, fish to survive, and fight the unfathomable as well. $9.99 for Dredge, so check that out. Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 1 and 2, 50% off for $14.99. This is the remastered release. Guys, this came out just back in December of last year, and I guess that is 10 months ago at this point, so I mean, you know, that is a while ago, but still 50% off, sizable discount on that. I know a lot of you guys grew up playing Legacy of Kain, not something that I was super into when I was younger, but I totally get that it's a super iconic franchise at this stage, and this remastered release was really well received, and, you know, 50% off, that's a pretty good buy. Totally see this getting added to PlayStation Plus sometime down the line, but we'll see about that. $14.99 on that. Next up, we have the Talos Principle 2, 60% off for $11.99. I always talk up the Talos Principle 1. I think it's an incredibly compelling puzzle game, and I'm not super into puzzle games like that, but I thought Talos Principle 1 was really well done, and this one came out 2 years ago at this point, just about to hit the 2-year mark in November, but didn't get a ton of attention, but $11.99 if you enjoyed the first one, a puzzle game to check out there. Doom the Dark Ages is 33% off for $46.89. This has been slowly going down in price. I like Doom the Dark Ages. When I say it's worth this price point, I mean, it's really hard to sell me on a game north of $40, you know, this long after its release. And it came out 5 months ago. And also, I just feel like, from an optics standpoint, just some of these games do diminish in value when you're talking about it was available on Game Pass, just on the outlook, and you just want to wait for it to get cheaper and cheaper. Although, again, people are going to have their opinion on that kind of viewpoint on games because, you know, you can make that argument on a lot of games, like Ninja Gaiden 4, for example, but, yeah, $46.89 on this. I will say I really like Doom the Dark Ages. I like the thematic shift. I liked the different gameplay pacing to it. I know some people weren't all about it. Narratively, it didn't do anything for me. I know it went a little bit beyond as far above that they typically do on the cutscenes and the narrative focus on the game. Look, I'm here to play Doom for the gameplay, and I thought the gameplay was pretty damn enjoyable. Thought the level design was good, and again, I like the thematic shift of the game, but $46.89 on that. Probably a little bit too pricey for my liking, but you can do whatever you want to do. Next up, we got Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 Gold Edition, 40% off for $54. So this does include the DLC that's been coming out for KCD2. KCD2, for a lot of people, is a contender for Game of the Year, or even their Game of the Year. And I can totally understand why. I can understand the people that like KCD2. They absolutely love it. The reality is some people are going to check out this game based on the buzz and the hype that it got, and I think some people did back in February, and then they come to find out that this game is not for them. There's a couple of things that are just not going to click with people. Not to say that elements of this game are outright bad, but it's just not going to click with people in the sense of the realism to the game. The idea of the game really leaves you to your own devices, and a lot of people will appreciate that in terms of the depth and nuance into the options that are available to you. That's great. Some other people would like a little bit of hand-holding, and there's nothing wrong with that. The combat in this game, I am not a fan of whatsoever. I think the combat is the biggest element of this game that'll push people away, and I had a buddy of mine that saw like the artwork and the buzz around the game. I've told this story before, but he played the game, loved the setting of the game. He's a big history nut, so he really appreciated the game from that standpoint, is enjoying the game, and I'm in the room with him as he is getting into the first combat section of the game, and the deadpan stare that he gave me, being like, brother, what is this? And that made him immediately drop the game. He immediately dropped the game and uninstalled it. And that's a guy that I consider to be really good at games. I consider him to be, you know, one of those guys that appreciates games that don't hold your hand as much. But the combat itself, as far as the mechanics behind it, he did not like whatsoever, and he immediately dropped the game. And generally speaking, with KCD2, that's what I hear over and over again on why people don't vibe with the game as much. It's the combat. But yeah, I think from a thematic standpoint, the setting, the history, all of that is really, the visuals, all of that is really well done. But Again, the combat is the biggest element that I've heard from people that have pushed them away. And I did play a lot of the game. I enjoyed it for what it was, but I wasn't crazy about the combat either, but I did appreciate a lot of the other aspects a lot. Again, the setting, the open world, the options that the game offers, I thought it was tremendous in that regard. But $54 on that. Lastly, we do have the Ascent 80% off for $5.99. I played this via Game Pass when it came out way back when on PC and Xbox, and it's a pretty interesting cyberpunk action RPG. Not blow away, $5.99 on that. It is available on Plus Extra right now, but I wanted to give that a mention. But that is going to do it for me. Again, I know I went on a bit of a tirade there at the end on KCD2, but it's a game that I generally do think people should try out and make an opinion for themselves. But nonetheless, that is going to do it for me. Some good deals across the board, but generally, a lot of these deals, I could see them being cheaper, especially with games like Cronos and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, where they're at that heftier price point, $51 and $54 respectively. They've got that room. The floor can get lower for those games as far as their price point, but that's going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.